So about a week ago on Twitter, Soundcloud tweeted that XXXTentacion changed the music scene. And that tweet kind of gave me the idea of making this video about which Soundcloud artists changed the music scene and who was on the Soundcloud Mount Rushmore. Now these are my opinions in the video, and these could be the same as a lot of people or different from a lot of people's opinions. But started out, we're going to start with none other than Lil Uzi, who's the first valid SoundCloud Hall of Famer. Because not only he had a lot of SoundCloud success, but he's also had a lot of mainstream success. From being looked at as a young thug clone who wouldn't be here in 5 years, to now sounding as much as J. Cole with his most recent album Eternal Will Take, and transforming his image from an underground mumble rapper to now a megastar that's taken very seriously, and breaking down barriers for the SoundCloud rappers that will come right after him. So without a doubt, this list wouldn't be right without having Uzi on it, and he's the defining SoundCloud artist, and he's also the most actively successful artist on this list, with many fans looking forward to his next project called The Pink Tape. But next on my list we got the late XXXTentacion, and about this artist I'm biased to because I emotionally connect with this artist, not just for his music but even him as a person and how he evolved through life in a short amount of time. And I know I just said Uzi's the most actively successful artist on this list, but if we just talk about strictly numbers now, X is by far blowing everybody that's going to be on this list out the water, and it's not even close. Hell, I can make a 10-minute video just off the things he accomplished in 2018. Even though his numbers has fell down a little bit, it's still crazy the way his streams are going every year. Not to mention that he also has the Diamond song just chilling, and is the third most hip-hop artist with the most followers in Spotify history, only trailing Eminem and Drake. And I could keep going on all day about the crazy statistics X have, but this just shows you the impact he had on this generation in a short amount of time, and I ain't never seen anything like it, and we may never get anything like this again for a long time. The devotion and dedication his fanbase had for him was almost like cult-like, people throwing riots when he died, his fanbase getting him to number 1, and him being the first rap act since Biggie Smalls to do that, and also having the most streamed SoundCloud song for 2 years with Trippie Redd called F Love before being taken over by BTS this past year. X wasn't only an artist that was big in music, but an artist that changed music forever, and his impact was undeniable. Rest in peace, X. Now next on this list is, believe it or not, Lil Pump. Now this sounds crazy in 2021 hindsight, but looking back at how big he was, it all makes sense. An artist like Lil Pump was made for SoundCloud, cause how he did what he did in any other generation or any other time, it would have not have worked, and he probably would have been somewhere working at McDonald's. But I'm not here to slander Pump, cause he did what he did in the right amount of time, and he had to be doing something right to be this successful. With tracks like D-Rose and his Skid It is what made him a household name to the SoundCloud listeners, and with the help of Cole Bennett, it helped him gain more attraction to the mainstream. Now I said earlier this pick may be an iffy one because as of right now his career is ice cold, and he hasn't dropped a project in over 2 years, and despite no project coming out, he has dropped a lot of singles, and if you compare the numbers to his old singles that blew him up, they're abysmal. But I won't use that to take away from him being on this list, because he does have a lot of songs that has over 100 million plays on SoundCloud, and whether you like him or hate him, you can't deny that Lil Pump is a SoundCloud legend, and he helped change the music scene for the mainstream. And my last but not least pick on this list, it's no other than Lil Yachty. And when I seen other people that did their list of SoundCloud legends, I was so surprised at how many people didn't have Lil Yachty on that list, or how much he was an afterthought. Cause you gotta realize during that time, it was him and Lil Uzi that were seen as the face of SoundCloud. Just how the SoundCloud fans thought Uzi was gonna be big, as big as he was, they also thought Yachty would be as big as Uzi too, as crazy as that sounds today. And out of everybody on the list, I feel like Yachty was the first one to have that big song. It was a song he made with Drum called Broccoli, which was huge, and I remember it being played everywhere. He was also like one of the first SoundCloud artists to get that mainstream push when he was in that Sprite commercial, which I thought at the time was a big deal, because you gotta remember, a lot of people was not taking these SoundCloud artists seriously or not showing them that respect. They had to take an artist like a Lil Uzi, a Lil Yachty, a XXX, and even a Lil Pump for them to break that boundary for other SoundCloud artists. And I ain't mentioning street artists such as 21 Savage, Kodak Black, and none of them, because I feel like they're a different element of rap. I view SoundCloud rappers as their own aesthetic in a different way than street rappers were viewed and how they blew up. But there were other SoundCloud legends I did not mention that were not on this list, and that's because I feel like these 4 artists did more for SoundCloud than the other artists I ain't mentioned did, or transformed from a SoundCloud to a mainstream artist better than the other artists I mentioned. Like Lil Peep, I feel like he was making noise in the SoundCloud area, but he never really made it to that mainstream success until after he passed away, and even then the success was minimal, but always kept his niche fan base. Or a Trippie Redd, who's a strong honorable mention, but I feel like the 4 artists I just named were bigger on SoundCloud than he was, and he blew up later than all of them. Or a Made in Tokyo, who was making heavy noise in the SoundCloud area area, but never really got the mainstream success, especially after the Uber Everywhere song. And the same applied with Denzel Curry, which I thought he was going to have that mainstream success, especially with the Clock Cobain song, but he low-key kind of fell back a lot. And I'm pretty sure I'm missing somebody else in this video that I'll probably come back to my mind later, but these are my opinions on the Soundcloud Mount Rushmore, and these are the 4 artists who I think should be on it. And thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and have a nice day.